The objectives of this video is to know the name of the main hydrocarbons and know how to draw their different structural formulas.
The UPAC rules are in order to name organic compounds, you must first memorize a few basic names. These names are listed within the discussion of naming alkanes. In general, the base part of the name reflects the number of carbons in what you have assigned to be the parent chain. The different types are alkanes, alkenes, alkanes, and aromatic. The most common hydrocarbons are methane, ethane, propane, butane, pentane, hexane, heptane, octane, nonane, decane, undecane, and dodecane.
Alkanes are a class of hydrocarbons in which the atoms are connected by single bonds. The rules for naming alkanes with the system UPAC is the first step is to write the alkane name of the longest chain of carbon atoms. An example is pentane. Step 2, number the carbon atoms starting from the end near a substituent. So in this case, pentane would be, you would need to number 5 carbons. Step 3, give the location and name of each substituent in alphabetical order as a prefix to the name of the main chain, and that would be the 3 steps to name. We're gonna see an example of naming an alkane. So in this example, we have a chain of 5 carbons. So the first step is to write the alkane name of the longest chain of the carbon atoms. In this case would be pentane. So we write pentane. Now the second step would be to number the carbon atoms starting from the end near to a substituent. This is the substituent, so we're gonna start counting the carbons from this one. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the third step is to give the location and name of each substituent as a prefix to the name of the main chain. So in this case, the substituent is in the second carbon, so we would write 2-methyl pentane. That would be the name of this chain. Another example of an alkane is this one. In this case, we have we could use the main chain, this one or this one. So we're gonna do the horizontal one. So in this case, there are 3 carbons in the main chain. So in this case, it will be propane. In this case, we don't have to number the carbons because the substituent is in the middle of the chain. So it would be the same if we do 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3. So there are 2 methyl groups. Then the name is gonna be D-methyl. In this case, the alkane is dimethyl propane. The final example of an alkane would be this one. In this case, the main chain is of 6 carbons, so the name would be hexane. Now, the substituent is closer to this end, so we're gonna start counting from this end. 1, 2, and 3. So the name would be 3-methyl hexane.
These are some steps that we have to follow to name hydrocarbons. The step number 1 is find the longest chain of carbons. It doesn't have to be a straight line. This goes at the end of the name. The step number 2 is identify any side branches. These go just before the longest chain or almost at the beginning of the formula. The third rule is if a side chain occurs more than once, indicate how many times it occurs. This goes just before the branch. D, that it means 2, 3, 3. That 3. Tetra, that means 4. After that, prefixes are the same as 4 chain length. The step number 4 is that when necessary, indicate which carbon the side branch comes from by counting from the end of the main chain that gives the lowest possible number. The step number 5 and the last one is that side branches are alphabetized by branch name, ignoring the number prefix.
How to draw an example of a structural formula of the compound of hydrocarbons. First of all, the first example will be methane. Methane has one carbon, and the formula to get the hydrogens will be double the carbons, that will be 2, and plus 2. So it will be 4 hydrogens. And then we write C, and we make 4 bonds with hydrogens. Then the second example will be ethane. Ethane has 2 carbons. If we double the 2 carbons, it will be 4, plus 2 more, it will be 6 hydrogens. Then we write the carbons, a single bond between them. Then we write bonds, then 1 hydrogen here, 1 more here, 1 more here, 1 more here, 1 more here, and finally 1 more here. Another example will be propane. Propane means 3 carbons. Then we double the 3 carbons, 6 plus 2, it will be 8 hydrogens. We write the 3 carbons, then 1 hydrogen here. We make the bonds, and we write all the hydrogens. 1 more here, 1 more here, 1 more here, and 1 more finally here. This will be the 3 examples of structural formula for the hydrocarbons compounds.
Hydrocarbons are the simplest organic compounds, containing only a carbon and a hydrogen. They can be straight chain, branched chain, or cyclic molecules. Carbon tends to form 4 bonds in a tetrahedral geometry. Hydrocarbon derivatives are formed when there is a substitution of a functional group at one or more of these positions.